New class changes, 14th of February. What's up, guys? Petko here. Welcome for night changes. 12 days until the early access of Midnight begins. And with that, today has been likely the most controversial class changes I have ever read in the entirety of my WoW career. So let's dive in, talk about it, and explain why exactly they are absolutely ridiculous. Alright, let's go in. Unholy DK is the first pick to get nerfed. I told you guys they're gonna nerf Unholy because their Putrefy Execute was just way too OP. So here it is. Diseases are doing 18% less damage. Pestilence now consumes only 100% of your damage instead of 150 from the diseases. Let's see what they say. Recent bug fixes and tuning adjustments cause diseases to deal more damage than intended. We're rebalancing their output to keep the build viable while also updating Putrefy Necromancer's Cunning to trigger Rune of the Apocalypse effect. Okay. So pretty much you can play Disease build and also Full Pet build with Magus Dead. Epidemic now does less AoE damage as well as Graveyard, that's AoE Spender. Magus Dead, which by the way nobody played, is now doing 20% more damage. So perhaps you might want to shift around again around the Magus talents again on your Apex talents. Maybe, not 100% sure. Damage of Putrefy Necromancer Cunning can now trigger Rune of the Apocalypse effect. Good. They nerf Sanlin. The strength you get is gonna be halved. And also Terror stacks up to 3 times instead of 5. Yikes. Okay, so huge nerf from Unholy, by the way. The question is, are everything that I read today also included on beta? Because it is gonna eventually come to live servers, because beta and live are gonna blend in together in like 12 days. But for now, this might only be for pre-patch, okay? I need to be confirming that as soon as I start to log in, which is going to be exactly in 30 minutes from now. Demon Hunter Devourer got nerfed by 4%. Havoc got buff of 5%. I think the Havoc buff were pretty lazy. I don't like the only 5% not above, but at the end of the day, I'll take anything. Druid, Balanced Druid got a 3% aura buff. This is a third consecutive buff on Balanced Druid, and I believe they don't need AoE buff, they just need readjustments of single target spells to do better raid performance. Pharaoh, all ability and auto attack damage increased by 3%. Another buff for Pharaoh Druids. I love that. Keep them coming, because what Pharaoh needs is more single target. They don't need only they don't need AoE. AoE Pharaoh is fine. They just need single target buffs. So they're actually going to be tuning every single healer damage up because they believe the healer damage is pretty bad. So whatever we see right now, the damage being buffed from all the healers, don't worry about it. It's a standard procedure. Apart from this, the mana cost of Moonfire is now reduced. You never had any mana issues as a Restoration Druid, by the way. I just want to point that out. Mana issues was never really a problem for you, but whatever. Devastation Evoker fixed the issue causing disintegrate damage to be much lower than intended. Okay, we didn't know such bug existed. Increasing the disintegrate damage by 76%. Wait a fucking second, boys. That might make disintegrate super OP, or what? We need to be testing that or checking out if actually this comes out as net neutral or a buff. All damage reduced by 4%. This is again the third consecutive nerf of Devastation Evoker for the third week. This time around they got hit by Aura nerf, which is gonna reduce their single target and AoE damage output. Flame Shaper Control the Flame now increases critical strike chance by 10%. Against targets above 50% was 15, so 5% less crit. And also a Fulminating Roar causes Fire Breath to deal 15% more often damage instead of 20. Another nerf from Flame Shaper, they really want you to play a Scale Commander. Unfortunately for all of you, Scale Commander is absolutely ass, and I would never ever recommend you to play Scale Commander. Anyway, moving forward, Preservation Evoker, all healing increased by 6%, and they're also gonna be buffing the damage. Temporal Artificer TA reduces cooldown of Rewind by 60 seconds, was 120 seconds. Okay, that's a nerf. Rewind reverses 30% of damage taken in the last 5 seconds, was 33. Nerf to Rewind as well. Bug fixes, mana cost problems fixed here. So more mana efficient right now and slightly more healing and more damage. Okay. Shorting. Hunter BM. Look at this. Look at this horseshit. Dark Ranger, Dark Hound attack power reduced by 25%. And also pack leader nerf, board area damage now deals with reduced damage beyond 5 targets. So Beastmaster Hunter was already doing one of the worst performances in Mythic Plus so far, and in Raid they were not doing that hot. Dark Ranger was arguably one of the worst builds across all specs, so they nerfed that build again, by the way. And also they target cap the board damage to be 5 targets instead of 8. That's a nerf again to BM Hunter. Interesting thing is, I'm not sure if they actually gonna implement this pack leader change of board to survive or not, but whether that is the case, we're gonna find out very soon. But that's a nerf to BM Hunter, which makes absolutely zero sense to me. And then, when the runner quiver no longer benefits from focus aim twice, trick shots effectiveness reduced to 60 from 75. Okay, so they just buffed it last week to 75 and now they're nerfing it. That's gonna be the death of MM Hunter, by the way, because MM Hunter, the only advantage over every other spec was the massive AoE that you had, and especially the burst AoE damage. So that is now gone. Okay. Focus aim reduced aim shot cooldown by 2 seconds was 1 second. That's fine. A more frequent aim shot, but they also nerfing true shot CDR, which means you're still gonna get quite a lot of CDR because they buffed this talent. And you're gonna get better CDR outside of cooldowns, which actually is not bad at all. Rapid fire cooldown reduced 16 seconds, that's good. Bullet storm now increases aim shot damage by 1% per stack was 2%. Again, this is another nerf bolt single target in AoE. The single target of MM Hunter was already horrendous. I was expecting buffs there. Sentinel Lunar Storm deals reduced damage beyond 8 targets. Nerf to Sentinel. We can't miss one miss. Increases threshold duration by 2 seconds with 4. Another nerf Sentinel. Dark Ranger is absolutely dead. So they're nerfing Sentinel. You can put MM Hunter in a bin. So far, BM and MM are already binner specs. Let's see survival. All of damage reduced by 4%. They're nerfing every Hunter spec. Strikers 1 reduced by 10. Boomstick nerfed by 10. Pack Leader, which is by the way the best build right now, also got nerfed to reduce his Raptor strike damage and pet damage. Wyvern also got nerfed. Here we go. Pack Leader Bear will also cap to 5 targets. And Lunar Storm now deals reduced damage beyond 8 targets. I mean, if you are a Hunter main right now, you got absolutely turbo clapped across all fronts, where he's gonna be Mythic Plus rating, whatever. So I am gonna be very sad if I was a Hunter main, but sadly, oh luckily I'm not, so yeah, it's very bad news, guys, for Hunters. Ew, fucking bozo. Arcane Mage. Arcane Pulse cast time reduced to 175 was 2.25. So they're pretty much buffing Arcane Pulse here to be faster cast. Very interesting decision. They're nerfing Slinger, obviously that was the case. Splinter Orb got nerfed. Arcane Splinters got nerfed by 50%. That is, by the way, not enough. That is not enough. You're still gonna see Splinter damage is gonna be insane. It needs more nerfs. Yeah, they're pretty much nerfing Spellslinger. The playstyle remains absolutely the same, except that you're gonna do less damage. That's fine. And Arcane Pulse now is gonna be much faster cast time. So that's about it. Fire Mage has seen no adjustments, only a bug fix here. Fuck me, man. That's actually very interesting. Why are they keeping fire like that? I have no idea. Frost. We're moving the damage out of baseline Frost into the hero talents to help give us more precise control over each hero talent performance in different content. We're also reducing Frostfire area damage. Okay. I mean, redistribution of power, pretty much. Shatter damage, Blizzard, Frostbolt damage, all of those nerfed by 10%. Frost nerfed by 20%. And Winter ends by 75. Winter's End providing too much benefit to specific builds and playstyles. We are significantly reducing its power. Okay, fair enough. They're buffing Frostfire actually quite a bit. And also they're buffing Slinger quite a bit. Now, they are buffing the Splinter Orb damage by 40%, was 25, and also increasing the Splinter damage by 10%. And obviously not a buffs. I'm not sure if all of this is going to come as net neutral or a buff to Frost Mage. I will be checking with you very soon, and we're going to be go live testing stuff on mages, so don't worry about it. I'm going to answer all of your questions. You will not be left unanswered. That's about everything for Mage. Moving forward, Mistweaver. They're buffing the damage of Mistweaver, as you guys can see. Once again, that's the case for every single healer gets buff on their spells. Then they're reducing the baseline damage amplifiers on spells, but they're buffing the damage scaling with levels. That's fine. Mana issues are actually being wait, they're nerfing Jade Fire. What? They just buffed it last week. Now they're nerfing Jade Fire teachings. They're nerfing Spinning Crane Kick, which is actually what the Way of Crane Kick, Way of Crane also got nerfed. That's actually this big question mark, dude. What are they doing there? So Mistweaver is at most average, and they're nerfing Mistweaver's healing, actually. Wow, okay. Well, Windwalker Monk nerfed by 10%, bro. Like every single DPS pick, like 90% of the specs are doing better than you, and instead of you getting buffed, they're nerfing you by 10%. Nerfing a Rising Sun Kick by a lot. Glory of the Dawn also nerfed. Spitting Crane Kick buff by 30%. It's still irrelevant spell, by the way. It is still irrelevant spell. Fist to Fury damage increased by 40. Okay, never mind. I'm taking what I said back. I believe all of this nerf was because they need more. They wanted to nerf them in single target, so that nerf might have been for single target because they buffed Spitting Crane Kick and Fist to Fury, which is gonna be your massive AoE focus, you know. So you're gonna be doing more AoE now. I 100% believe that. Urging Wing Kick's activation rate increased to 60%. No gas city for Windwalker Monk. Okay. Wow. That is actually insane. Touch of Tiger increases Tiger opponent damage by 50%, was 15. Conduit Celestials invokes when the White Tiger empowers Conduit Celestials. Copies only 4% of your damage, so they are nerfing the Conduit build. And also Conduit damage decreased by 20%, that's fine. Shadow Pan 1 versus many now increases Fist to Fury damage by 60%, was 20. Okay. Shadow Pan becomes the best build. No question asked. No, like they're buffing this by 200% on top of getting Fist to Fury buff by 40%. Bro, okay, Windwalker Monk might hit like a truck now in a way. I am so looking forward to give it a try. Moving forward to Paladin. We see a Retribution Paladin is getting a 12% Divine Storm buff. Divine Hammer damage increase also by 30%. Another buff, by the way, to Templar. They keep buffing Templar religiously every single week. Holy Paladin, once again, Empyrean Legacy can stack to 2 times. Empyrean Legacy now cast Light of Dawn at 30% effectiveness with 125. That's a massive nerf, by the way. Beacon of Savior absorbs amount decreased by 25%. Buffing the damage. That's fine. Avenger Crusade heals for 80% of the damage done instead of 100. Ooh, another nerf here to Avenger Crusade. Well, Holy Paladin definitely got clapped. Healing wise for sure. Okay. Moving forward to Discipline Priest. Atonement is gonna heal now for 35% instead of 45%. Keep in mind that Atonement has been nerfed already 3 times. This is like what? Like 22 or 23% nerf to Atonement. So now Discipline Priest is gonna fall even further behind, by the way. So before they were like considered the second best healer like a month ago. Then it got nerfed. Now again, it got nerfed again. So you're gonna fall further behind in healing, like you're gonna become average. So Restoration Druid stonks are just the nerfing Holy Paladin, the nerfing Discipline Priest, which are the second and third best healer. And the clearly becomes a Restoration Druid. At this point, we might see a Restoration Druid meta again for a bajillion time in a row. Void Weaver got buff Void Blast by 30%, that's about it. And yeah, this is PvP, nobody cares about PvP. Holy Priest, just damage buffs, that's about it. And some bug fixes. Shadow Priest, Void Form increases damage done by 20%, while active was 10. That is a 10% more shadow damage that you're gonna do. That is a 10% out above, by the way, which actually is quite impressive. For the most part, you're gonna be doing more damage. So we're gonna be testing out Shadow Priest as well. Moving forward to Rogue. Trickster Unseen Blade reduced by 5%. I believe Trickster was only played by Sub-Rogue. Outlaw played Fatebound. Trickster was Sub-Rogue. So that's pretty much indirect nerf of Sub-Rogue. Also, Rogue Rapture by 5% buff. Fan of Knives by 12%, by 25% buff. And Crossing Spider has been, it got like 20% buff as well. So the clear winner becomes Assassination Rogue, by the way. It looks like they really want to make Asa Rogue the best Rogue spec. Yeah, okay, here I got Sub-Rogue, Trickster, Nimble Fury got nerfed. Another nerf to Sub-Rogue. AoE damage, and clever combat crit chance of Shuriken Storm reduced to 15% minus 20. Another nerf Subrok. Here we go, boys. Subrok was already doing negative single target, but the AoE was really good. They're nerfing the AoE damage on Subrok. Another L. Nothing for Outlaw. Shaman. Brimming with life gives you now 5% more stamina at max rank, 2% more magical durability passively. Nature's Guardian is gonna heal you for 40% of your health instead of 20, so that's all gonna increase your durability of Shaman. Elemento is they're gonna buff the Earthquake by 15%, but they're gonna nerf Chain Lightning by 15%. Okay, so this is gonna be a nerf to AoE, by the way, because Chain Lightning also gonna be affecting the overloads, and you will be doing less damage even though they buffed Earthquake, because like Chain Lightning on average usually used to do like around twice the Earthquake damage. So in order for them to compensate to be net neutral change, they gotta buff Quake by like 30 to 40%. But now they only did it to 15 and buff Chain Lightning to 15, your AoE is gonna get nerfed. They nerfed ST last week, now they're nerfing AoE. They're buffing Stormbringer though, which is the worst build right now by far. Yeah. No comments here. Overall, negative DPS for Elemento and more durability for Enhance, Ellie, and the rest of Shaman. Speaking about rest of Shaman, you're just gonna be getting more damage, and that's pretty much it. And they're nerfing Fars here actually by significant amount, but that might be a readjustment of the scaling here. This could all come as buff of to buff your damage only, not nerfed. That's fine with me. Demon Lock, the biggest criminal by the way. Demon Lock. Minions summoned by Dominion Argos nerfed by 45%. Clapped. Love that. Soul Harvester, another nerf to Demonology Lock. Soul and Team by 35% and Demonic Soul by 25%. Okay. Destruction Lock, Rain of Fire 10%, Immolate 15%, Conflagrate 20%, Incinerate 20%. However, all of these buffs also come in a nerf to Diabolus, which is gonna be doing a reinition damage reduced by 35%. I still think Diabolus is gonna be the best build, by the way. Hell Color, Black and Soul damage reduced by 30, which makes absolutely zero sense because Hell Color was so far behind with Wither damage, and Black and Soul wasn't doing that much damage, so they're nerfing by 30%. Make it make sense. Nothing to say. I believe Destruction Lock needs more single target. I don't know if this is gonna cut it, however. This might bump PST by like what, 4 or 5%? Maybe more than that. I think it just needs Chaos Bolt buffs. But that's fine. Moving forward, Iron's Warrior, one of the worst melee so far. Iron's Warrior got nerfed. Overwhelming finish bonus damage with overpower is now gonna be 10% less, nerfed. Max Execution nerfed. Colossus Demolish AoE nerfed. Colossus Cut to the Bone, bonus damage nerfed. I am gonna lose my mind, I swear. Slayer Fury nerfed. Protection Warrior, execute damage buff by 20%. Colossus Demolish AoE nerfed. And Colossus Cut to the Bone once again nerfed, just like Iron's Warrior. That's everything so far, chat. I am the most excited to try the Windwalker buffs. I'm really looking forward. Once again, 12 days until the early access come out. There's still gonna be at least 3 more rounds of changes, even after the expansion goes out. But once again, don't expect those to be super big. They might be smaller or bigger. Nobody knows. But for now, today was actually quite decent patch tuning. Anyway, follow for more, and we're gonna going live immediately after this video is done. You guys can hop in on Twitch because I'm gonna be on Twitch and streaming all of the class nerfs and buffs. See you guys around. Bye for now.